This video was made possible by the EA Creator Network. Hi everyone, and welcome back to a brand new speed build. Today I have a whimsical fairy home for you guys, and I'm so excited to share this because this is my first build with the new expansion pack that we got about 2 weeks ago now. I know this is late, I will get into it later. This was supposed to be out earlier, but because of some technical difficulties, I've not been able to get it out until now. But anyways, I am so excited to share this because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, when this pack was announced, I wasn't super excited. Like, I was a little excited because I knew we were gonna get like new plants and stuff like that, but I wasn't really like that excited because the idea of fairies, yes, it intrigued me, but it wasn't something that I was like, oh, I need to get my hands on this like right now. I'm super excited. Like, it wasn't something that I was like, like that excited about. Like when Business and Hobbies was announced like earlier this year, and when we got that pack, I was so excited. But when we got this announced, I was like, I don't know, like I'm gonna obviously play with it, I'm gonna figure things out with it, but like I'm not gonna be like super excited. I am in love with this pack. Like, it is so good. I was not expecting it, and I'm not just saying this because I was able to get early access from the EA Creator Network. Thank you so much to them, but I'm not saying that just because of that. Like, I genuinely love this pack way more than I thought I would, and I love this world and I love everything with it, so I am so excited to share this. But yeah, so for my first build with this, I decided to build in the kind of like woodsy part of this world. With this world, we got like 3 different neighborhoods, I guess. We have this neighborhood, which is on the far left, I believe, and it's this kind of like woodsy, whimsical neighborhood. Like, there's the, I think everyone has seen it at this point, but there's a lot behind this lot actually, so you can see it in the distance, which is literally on a tree. Like, it's it's so beautiful. But that's what I mean, like this is kind of like a woodsy, whimsical part. And so this is where this builds. And then there's also another neighborhood that is in the kind of like top right, I think, which is more of like, it's still in the woods, but it's a little bit more like not suburban-ish, but it's not as whimsical, if that makes sense. And then there is the neighborhood in the city, where it's like more of like a town vibe. And yeah, I am so excited because the next week's build, I believe, if I'm able to get it out in time, should be in the more like town area. And I'm so excited for you guys to see that because I am so proud of that build. But either way, I have this build for you right now, and I decided to do this more like foresty build for my first one because obviously this pack is called Enchanted by Nature. It is focusing on like nature, and it is like fairy inspired. Obviously we have fairies in the game now, and we got so many items that have like, I don't know, like trees and like just woodsy and like nature inspired things. So I was like, I'm so excited for this. So yeah, I decided to build this. I did go off of a picture from Pinterest, which I will pop up here on the screen right now, but I did go off of a picture from Pinterest for this build. Not too much, but kind of like the basic shape, I guess, and like with the chimney in the front and stuff like that. That didn't really have like a back of the build like picture, so I kind of just made that up. But yeah, I also do want to say before we get further into this video that if you hear any background noise, I am so sorry. That will be the traffic outside. I've been waiting all day to record this because the traffic has been insane, because I live in an area where like during summer the traffic gets insane, and it's so hot that I have to have my balcony door open. I am so sorry. I am gonna try my absolute best to get rid of as much of that sound as possible, but I might not be able to get rid of it all, so I'm so sorry, but I have to have the balcony door open or I will melt in here, so I'm so sorry. I just wanted to mention that before we get further into the video if you're like, what is that noise? But that's what it is. But anyways, yeah, so again, I am so excited for this build, and I have so much to talk about, like so many new things, so many new items and everything, and I'm so excited. So starting off, again, I did go off a picture from Pinterest. I knew that I wanted this to be, again, like whimsical and like fairy-ish, and like not have a quote-unquote like regular build, if that makes sense. Like, this build is a little wonky. It has a little bit of a wonky roof. When I showed my boyfriend this, he was like, witch's house, which kind of fits. Like, a witch is also like a whimsical creature, I guess. Yeah, I guess. So it kind of fits. But yeah, I really just like this build. I think it's not something that I normally would do, but for the wallpaper, I use all wallpapers from this pack. The stone is from this wallpaper that I use both on the kind of like, I think it's an octagon shape bump out on the build, and then also on the chimneys. That wallpaper is from this new pack, and it matches the new stairs that we have as well, and the new foundation, which I use both in this build as well. I tried to use as many things from the new pack as possible in this. And then the kind of like beige, kind of wood-ish wallpaper that is in the main house is also from this pack, obviously. I don't know how to explain that because it isn't wood, but it is wood. I don't know how to explain it. And then on the kind of like front of the build, there's another kind of like, I think that's a hexagon, or no, it's an octagon still, I think, bump out like kind of at the front of the build. It's not a like full octagon, it's like a half one, if that makes sense. Again, it's at the front of the build, like right by the front chimney. On that one, I use what I'm gonna call like the scale wallpaper. I don't know how to explain it otherwise, but it basically looks like a bunch of scales, and it looks so pretty. And that is also, again, from this new pack, and I use it in this kind of like teal swatch. It has so many beautiful swatches, but for this one I use it in like a teal swatch. And then I use all new windows in this. I used a few different ones. Basically, we have a few different like versions of new windows, if that makes sense. We have ones that have some like grass on them as well, and those are the ones that I use on the big octagonal bump out. On that you can see me using those, which also matches the front door that I use. And then for the rest of the build, I use these windows that are more like regular windows, if that makes sense. Like, they still have some whimsy on them, but they're like wood windows. They are so beautiful. They come in a single tile version, but in a few different sizes. So I use the long ones mostly. I do use the short ones as well later on in the build. When I do the kind of like desk area, you will see me add those in. And then I also use like the 3 tile wide version of the window. They are so beautiful and I love them. They have some like, again, some whimsy to them, even though they're just like wood windows, because especially like the 3 tile wide one, that one has like a curved edges, and it looks so good, and I love them. And yeah, I love it so much. And then I also use the new roof that we got. We have 2 new roofs. We have one that is more like a grass roof, and then we have this one which is just like a wonky paneling roof, and I love it. And I paired it with 2 different like roof trims, which I don't normally do. Normally I have just one, but for this one I decided to use 2 because for the octagonal bump outs, both the big one and the smaller one, I use a new roof trim that we got with this pack. I believe, at least, I think it's from this pack. But then the kind of like lighter wood roof trim that I use that has this kind of like pattern that like goes down from it, if that makes sense. That is, I believe, from the Forent expansion pack, and I just thought it fitted the like whimsical thing like so much. Like, I can't speak. I just felt like it really fitted. And then for the rest of the roof, I decided to clutter it up with plants, because now we can actually put plants on the roofs without like a mod or something like that, because before we have been able to, technically, like nothing has stopped us from putting plants on roofs, but it's been a little bit difficult, especially if you don't have the tool mod. But now we have plants you can put. I use a variety of different ones. I use ones that are supposed to be on the roof. Like, if you go to the like roof decorations category, like where we have like chimneys and stuff like that, you will see some plants now, and those are ones that you can place on, but they want to have very specific like placements. Even if you have the move objects cheat on, they still want to be on like very specific placements. So I decided to use a mixture of those. Again, we have 2 from this pack that works like that. We have one that is, well, at least that I use in this, that is purple completely, and then one that looks like green and then has 2 purple flowers on it, if that makes any sense. So use a mixture of that, and then also some live edit plants that we got from this new pack as well. And those I just used the 9 key to use, because when I was building this, I did not have the tool mod, because I built this. I got early access, so I got early access on the Monday, and this came out on the Thursday. And I started building it right away, so I did not have tool, like it had not been updated. So this build is made mostly without tool. When I was like towards the end of this build, I did have tools, so I did fix a few different things, but mostly this build does not have tool. As always, if you don't have tool installed, it's fine. You can still download this build. You do not need to have the tool mod installed to download a build that has been built with it, if that makes sense. Like, things will still be as they are. But yeah, again, I clutter up the roof with a lot of different plants, which I've never done before, but I just think it fitted the whimsical vibe so well. And then I also on the roof decided to use these kind of like distress hole thingies. I don't know how to explain them, but I think you kind of saw me when I placed them. Those are from the Life and Death expansion pack. I almost never use them because I just don't really think they fit most of the builds I normally make. But for this one, again, I just think it fitted the kind of like whimsical theme. Like, I was thinking that this is an old cottage. It's been here for a while and it just fits so well. So I'm really happy with it. And then also on the roof, I do use one of the new, I don't know what it's called. I keep forgetting the name for it, but basically what makes it look like there's a room in the roof, if that makes sense. We have 2 new little bump outs of that, if that makes sense. We have one that has like the grass texture. They're supposed to go on like a grass textured cottage, I guess. And then we have this one that I used in this build, which has more of the like same roof line as I used, and I really liked it. And then we also have a bunch of new debug plants. Like I said before, I did use some of them in the roof, but when it came to the landscaping, I used so much of these new plants, so many of these new plants. Not only the plants, but also the trees. Most of the trees that I use are also from this new pack, from the live edit menu. And yeah, I love the landscaping for this build. I went for a more like pink purple-ish landscaping, and I just think it fitted so well, especially with the fence that I use, because we have 2 new fences. I used both of them in this build. The fence that is kind of like framing the lot that has some greenery on top of it, that is again from this new pack, and I use it in a swatch which has these like these pink little flowers on them, so I think it kind of just fitted with the whole like pink and purple aesthetic. And then I also used the new like vines that we have, because we have some new wisteria vines, which if you've been here before, I think I mentioned this before, I'm not actually sure, but we got wisteria vines from the Cottage Living expansion pack as well. And when we got those, I was so excited because basically I love wisteria. I have a wisteria tattoo. Like, I love wisteria. I always have. It's a thing in my family. And so when I saw we were getting when we were getting new ones with this expansion pack, I was so excited because these ones look so good, and we have them in a bunch of different shapes, some that go straight up, some that go sideways, some that are thicker, some that are like shorter and stuff like that, and it's just, they look so good, and I put them all over this build as well. And together with that, I also put some mushrooms on the like walls, which might look a little weird. Basically, these mushrooms are new shelves that we got, so you can find them in the shelves category, and I put them all over the build just because I again, the whimsy of just having those like growing from the build itself, like that's so weird, but I love it. And I saw Jessica Pye do that, so it's not something that I thought of myself. I saw Jessica Pye do it, but yeah, I just think it fitted so well. And I used them in this kind of like neutral swatch because they do come in some like more colorful swatches, those mushrooms. Like, we have one like of the kind of like classic mushroom that has like red and the white dots, at least I believe there's a swatch of that, but I decided to go for this just like kind of neutral swatch. And then also by the front door, I used the new like outdoor wall light that we have that looks so cute. It looks like a little like, it looks like Tinkerbell's house almost, and it's so pretty and I love it. I didn't use it that much on the exterior just because I didn't think it fitted that well all over the place, but I used it by the front door and in some other places. And then also by the front door, I used this base game doormat. Really random, I'm aware, but it has these gnomes on it and I love it. We got that doormat in like one of the what's it called, like, you know, like the event thingies that we have. There's kind of like a battle pass, but it's more like an event and you can like unlock items. It was one of those that we got like a while ago. I don't remember when, but if you did not get that when like the event was on, it's fine. If you download this build, this doormat will still be there. It's just that you won't have it in your own catalog, but it will still be in the build. So don't stress out, it will still be there. And I love using those little gnomes because throughout this build, I use some of the new gnomes that we have as well, because we got 3 new gnomes, kind of. We got one that looks like a wizard. which is the one that I'm like kind of a gnome, because it is a gnome, but it looks like a wizard and I love it. It's so cute. I use it by like the end of the stairs, because basically this lot, I use the, what's it called? The terrain tool to make it look like there are two different levels, and the stairs that go up to the, not like the front porch, if that makes sense, just the stairs that go up to the house. The first set of stairs, if that makes sense. I use that little gnome, what's it called, the wizard gnome. I could not remember the name of a wizard, but like the little wizard gnome right there. And then by the like actual like front porch, those stairs, I use another gnome, and then we have one that looks like a fairy as well, and I love it. They're so cute. I use them all over this exterior, and they're just so cute. And I also use a new pond that we got. I believe this pond is one that, like, if you buy the pack within a month of it coming out or something like that, you will get this pond. I believe it's one of those items. But again, if you are watching this in 2 years and you're getting this pack just now, and like obviously you can't get the item still, if you download this build, this item will still be in the build. You just personally won't have it in your like catalog. It's really weird how The Sims works like that, but I'm happy that it does. So like even if you don't have items, like it's still fine. I also don't like that The Sims does that, because it just makes people miss out on so many things. But anyways, like I mentioned earlier, this build is built with the terrain manipulation, so the kind of like gardening area ends up being a few steps down, and it was when I was doing the gardening area that I ran into the technical difficulties that I was talking about earlier with this build. And it doesn't have to do with The Sims, it doesn't have to do with this new pack, it was on my end completely. Basically, when I was building this build, my PC was not having a good time. It would just shut down on me randomly. It could have been on for 3 minutes or 3 hours. It didn't matter, just randomly it will shut down on me. I have since fixed the issue, but it was an issue for about 5 days, and it was when I was building this, and so I had to redo so many parts of this build so many times. I think I redid the kitchen, not the kitchen, the dining room and the master bedroom. I redid those, I'm not even kidding, about 10 times, because my PC would just shut off, and so it wouldn't save. I would have the recording of it, because I have that, like, even if my PC shuts down, the recording saves, but I hadn't saved my game, so I would have to redo it so many times. And it started when I was doing the kind of like gardening area outside. That was the first time, and then my PC was like, okay, it's fine, I'm gonna chill now for a little bit, and then just kept doing it later on. So that is why this video is late. I wanted to get this out the same week that this pack came out, but I just could not because of these difficulties. And yes, it was only for a few days, but once that was done, I had to redo most of this build anyways, and then I had to edit it. So I am so sorry this build is late, but it was not my fault. It was my PC. Again, I have since fixed the issue. It is fine now, but those few days that was happening, I was so pissed all the time. That plus me working, because I am working right now a lot, has just not had me, I've not had time to work on this build that much and to get it out for you. So I'm so sorry, but you're getting it now, and hopefully you will get one next week as well. I'm trying my best, I promise. But anyways, moving on and talking more about the build. So like I mentioned before, there is this little gardening area, and then above the kind of gardening area, through a new arch that we have as well, which matches the kind of like wisteria vibe. That's actually a wedding arch. I just used it like a regular one. It's fine. Through that is kind of like the barbecue area, where I use some of the new like dining chairs that we have. We have 2 new dining chairs. We have one that I use out there that has like no back, like it's kind of just a stool, if that makes sense. And then the ones with the actual like chair back, if that makes sense, I use in the dining room on the interior. And then I also just put a little fire pit out there, and I put some of the new plants and everything like that, because again, like I mentioned before, one of the few things that I was really excited about before we got this was the new plants, because not only do we have some new beautiful potted plants, like regular ones, but we also now have the ability to put potted plants with different plants, if that makes sense. So you would have already seen me do it on the exterior, and you will see me continuing doing it on the interior. But basically, we now have these pots. I think we have 4 different variations. of the pots, I think so, and they have a few different swatches. And then we have these plants, which I believe we have 4 or 5 different versions of the plants, and you can just put them in any of the pots, if that makes sense. The only bad thing that I realized when I was playtesting this build is that those plants will go bad if you don't water them. So they're kind of like outdoor plants, you know, that you have in like the planters. They're like that, and sadly there's not a setting, at least that I have found, which makes it that shuts off, and it's really annoying, especially if you're playtesting a build, because I had to re-put all those plants in, because when I was done playtesting this and finding the perfect lighting for screenshots, those plants had gone bad. So that's a little annoying, but I just replaced them, so it's fine. But we now have the ability to put different pots with different plants, and I'm so excited because the amount of different plants I can use is, I'm so excited, and I've used it so much, and that is something that I'm going to be using, like those plants. I'm going to be using it every single build from now on. Mark my words. But yeah, I don't think there was anything else for the exterior itself. Most of it, again, has to do with this new pack. Like, again, the wallpapers, the windows, everything like that is from this new pack. And yeah, if you have any questions when it comes to the exterior, just let me know. But moving on to the interior, and I love the interior. When I was showing my boyfriend this, I was doing the desk area, which is what I do right after the living room, so I was not far in. And again, he said, like, when he saw the exterior, he was like, witch's house, and he was like, it's whimsical, and I was like, yes, if it's the vibe. But then when I briefly showed him the interior, he was like, I feel like the interior doesn't really match the exterior. But in the end, I feel like it does, and I get what he means, because for the exterior, again, it has holes in the roofs and stuff like that, but for the interior, I didn't really know how to reflect that. But in the end, I think I managed to do it. Basically, what I did is just cluttered up a bunch and use a bunch of different objects and stuff like that, which I will get to. But I think in the end, I kind of nailed the interior as well. Obviously, you guys can be the judge of that, but I love the interior. But basically, as you walk into the house, there's this little like entryway. I just used a side table from the Jungle Adventure game pack, and I just clutter that up. And also something that I use throughout this entire build, and that I use for the first time above the like front door, is these kind of like tree wall lights that we have, tree fairy light wall lights kind of, and I adore them. I use them above that door, like the front door, and then I use them throughout this entire build, and I use them so much, and I'm going to be using them in so many other builds because they look so good. The only qualm I have about them is that we have basically we have a few different versions of them. We have one that goes straight up and then arches a little bit to the left, and we have one that goes straight up and arches a little bit to the right. Perfect. Love him. Then we have one that goes from like the middle and then arches up like sideways and then arches up a little to the left, and then one that goes from the middle and arches up a little bit to the right. And then we have only one that goes from the middle and arches down to the right. Why don't we have one that arches down to the left? That is so annoying, and I don't know if this makes any sense, but you might be able to see throughout the build what I'm talking about, because it was annoying me so much. If you have the tool mod If you have the tool mod installed, you can like rotate them to however you need, but obviously again, when I was building this, I didn't have the tool mod, so it was just really annoying. But in the end, it's fine. It's just a really nitpicky thing, but I love them, and it's just really, really annoying that that's what they are like. Like, I don't know why they're doing like that, but it doesn't matter. And again, I do use them throughout this entire build. Like, I use them in the living room, the hallways, the kitchen, the parents' bedroom, the kids' bedrooms, like everything. Which, by the way, I haven't even mentioned yet. This house ends up being for 2 parents, 1 kid, 1 toddler, and an infant. And I will talk more about their rooms later. But yeah, that's like what this build is for. Totally forgot to mention that. But anyways, from the kind of like entryway area, you go straight into the living room, and in the living room I end up using a fireplace from the Cottage Living expansion pack, and then I use the new couches and armchairs, and I love them. I genuinely wasn't that excited again about these couches and armchairs, because I was like, they're going to be in so many weird swatches and they're just not going to look that good. It's not something I'm going to use a lot. but they come in, yes, some weird swatches, but also some just like beautiful swatches. Like the swatch I use in this house is this kind of like cream back and then this green kind of like seating, if that makes sense. It looks so good. I'm going to be using these couches in many different builds, but we didn't get a love seat, and I need the Sims team to just listen to me for once. For once, please listen to me when I tell you that if you're giving us a couch and an armchair, give us a love seat. It cannot be that hard. Just shrink it down a little. Like, please. I don't know why, but the Sims team have just decided to not give us love seats anymore. And if they do, they don't match the rest. It's so annoying, and I hate it. But again, just like a little nitpicky thing. But I think so many other people can relate to this because it's so annoying. But yeah, sorry, Sims team. I love you. Thank you for giving us this great pack, but please just add a love seat. I would love it. But because we didn't have a love seat, I decided to use 2 of the same couches like next to each other. But to make them look a little bit different, I do use, because they do have some like cushions and stuff like that. They have like a leaf cushion, and on one of them I just cover that leaf cushion up with another cushion, just a base game one, or a pillow, whatever it's called, to kind of just make it look a little bit different. Like there's not 2 completely identical couches, but I think it's fine. And then I use a coffee table from, I believe, the Life and Death expansion pack. I used a lot of items from the Life and Death expansion pack in this build. Wasn't like expecting that, but it works out great. But yeah, I just used that coffee table, and again I used the 2 armchairs. I love that one of the armchairs has a pillow and the other one doesn't. I love that because that makes it look that they're a little bit different. Love that so much. And the table that I kind of use, quote unquote table, that I use between the armchairs is actually not a table. It's just a coffin with books on them, which I believe is from the what's it called? Not Life and Death. The Cats and Dogs expansion pack. So cute. That's also something I did throughout this entire build. Basically, I put these stacks of books, which we got from, I believe, the Book Nook kit, and I put them everywhere just because, again, the whimsy. I just feel like having stacks of books is kind of whimsical, and I kind of love it, and it fits the build, so that's something small that I did. And then behind the couches, I used the bookshelves that we got from the Crystal Creations stuff pack, and I love using them just because I feel like they match. Again, they kind of like whimsy vibes with the they has a little ladder on them, and I just love them. And I cluttered those up with a bunch of different things from this new pack. Again, I use some of the new plants. I use we have this little object that has like a little door and stuff like that. It's so cute. It's a cute little decoration object. I use that in there as well. And I use a new gnome and stuff like that. I just cluttered that up. And then through the archway that is kind of like by the front entryway, you walk into the kind of like desk area. Normally I tend to have a like designated office space, or like an office room, but for this build there just wasn't room, so I decided to just make this little area into like an office nook, and I love it. I used the new desk that we got from this pack as well, and it looks very like organic. It looks like, just a tree, and I love it so much. And I felt like having a regular quote unquote like PC would just stand out, so I decided to use the voice crack, sorry. I decided to use the like typewriter computer that we got from the Cottage Living expansion pack. Works out great. And then I used one of the new like wall decorations that we have from this pack. It looks like there's a painting and some plants and a little mirror and stuff like that. That's also something that I used in the living room and throughout this entire build. We have a few new paintings, but my favorite ones are ones that are actually like pressed flowers, because that's something you can do now. We have this object you can like press flowers with, which I do put on the desk, and we have these beautiful paintings. And if you can't find them, that's because they are in the debug menu, because they are technically like items that you make throughout the game. But we have these beautiful like pressed flower paintings, and they come in so many different swatches. We have ones that are like neutral, which I use like throughout like the living room and the hallways and the parents' bedrooms, stuff like that. But then we have more like colorful versions, which I use in the infants room and then the toddler and kids rooms. I just think it looks so good, and I love the fact that we have like variations of it. And then also by the little desk area, I decided to put a new bookshelf that we have as well. And then on the little like octagonal bump out thingy, I decided to use a not love seat, but like a window seat kind of from the Cats and Dogs expansion pack as well. This build is not pack limited, but I would say that the packs I use the most are obviously Enchanted by Nature. It would make no sense if I didn't use that a lot. But then also Cats and Dogs, Cottage Living, Life and Death, Realm of Magic, Worldly, Crystal Creations, and I think Horse Ranch as well. Again, it's not pack restricted. All the packs that I use will be listed down below. I probably used so many, but I think those are like the main ones that I kind of used. And then after the kind of like desk area, I do the kitchen. And in the kitchen, I use some new counters and cabinets as well. And I love these new ones. They look, again, very organic. Like they're just like made out of wood. And I love them. And I decided to pair them with I decided to pair them with a stove and fridge from the Life and Death expansion pack, because we did not get a stove and fridge from this pack. Honestly, would kind of have expected that, but we didn't. But I think these ones look very good with these ones, with the new counters and stuff like that. I think they just match up really well. And then I just use like a base game sink and stuff like that, and I just clutter the counters up with a bunch of different things from a bunch of different packs. Just again to clutter. I love clutter, as we know, and I feel like, again, the kind of like whimsical aesthetic works with clutter very, very well. And in the kitchen, you can see this new kind of like 3-tile wide window, and it looks so good. I love it. I love it. And then also in the kitchen, there ends up being a bar, and that bar that I use is from the Realm of Magic expansion pack. Again, it fitted the kind of like whimsical aesthetic, and I love it. Something that I will say that I did in this build, which I don't normally do, is that I mixed a bunch of different wood tones. I used the kind of like regular wood tone. I also now see that the kitchen counters are in like 2 different wood tones. If they're still like that in the screenshots, and I have not changed that, trust me, when you download this from the gallery, they will have the same wood tones, because that's now bugging me so much, because I just noticed that. I just changed 2 counters, I didn't change the rest. That's so annoying. If it's like that in the screenshots, trust me, before I upload this to the gallery, I will make sure that those are all the same, because that's really annoying. I am so sorry. But throughout the rest of the build, I do mix a few wood tones, but again, I feel like it fits the kind of like whimsical nature of this build. And then next to the kind of like bar, I decided to use a like a storage unit, I guess, that is from the Horse Ranch expansion pack. And then in the kitchen, there also ends up being this little like room that has an archway into it, and originally I was gonna make that into a little pantry, but then I was like, you know what? Not gonna do that. I'm gonna make this into a little apothecary room. So that is a new profession that we have, a new skill that we have in this game. You can now be an apothecary. Is that what it's called? An apothecary? I think so. And if you don't know, basically, like apothecary, I think that's correct word, or correct uses of the word. I don't know. Either way, the apothecary is like an old school medicine, like kind of like pharmacist, and they usually focus more on like natural healing, so like herbs and stuff like that. And we have an apothecary table now, so I do put that in that little like, I don't know, nook, I guess, off of the kitchen, as well as like a storage unit thingy, and I just cluttered that up. And yeah, I just love the fact that you can be an apothecary now, because if you didn't know, I work at a pharmacy, so it has like similar vibes, and I'm so excited because, again, I don't want to spoil too much, but the build that I mentioned before that's probably going to be up next week, that is in the more like town area, I did build an apothecary shop, Is that what it's called? I don't know, but you know what I mean, and I'm so excited to share it because I love it. I did put a screenshot of it on Twitter already, like kind of like a sneak peek one, so if you're interested to see kind of what it looks like, go over there and check it out. But yeah, I am so excited. And yeah, I don't know, I love the fact that you can be an apothecary now. Is that what it's called? An apothecary? I think so. I don't know completely now. But after that little I don't know, like apothecary nook, I guess, I move on into the dining room, and like I mentioned before, I had to redo certain parts of the not the living room, the dining room 15 different times because my PC was like, not doing this anymore, and it was really annoying, but it's fine. In the end we got there. But in the dining room, I decided to use the new dining table that we got and match it with the new dining chairs that we got, like I mentioned before, the ones that have like kind of like the higher back, not the ones that I use on the exterior. And I do also use a new fireplace in there. We have 2 new fireplaces with this new expansion pack. We have the one that I use in there that kind of matches the like kitchen counters and stuff like that I use, like this kind of, again, just like regular wood aesthetic. But then we have another one which I didn't use in this build, which is like stone, and it has some like moss on it and stuff like that, which I love, but again, just didn't use in this build. But also in there I just put a side table and a storage unit and stuff like that. I just cluttered it up. Also the curtains that I use in there and also in the living room are ones that we got from the, I want to say the, what was it called, the Riviera Retreat kit. I believe they're from that. And then throughout the build, the other curtains that I use are from this new build. We have beautiful new curtains, but they are kind of from like the top down, if that makes sense. They're not from like side to side. And for certain parts of this build, like in the living room and in the dining room, I wanted like side to side and not top down. But for the rest of the curtains, again, they are from this new expansion pack. But yeah, the rest of the dining room, I kind of just cluttered up with a bunch of different plans. Throughout this build, I do use a lot of plans. I do normally use a lot of plans, but I feel like in this one I kind of went a little overboard because, again, kind of just fit the whimsical kind of nature, thing. And also in there, I use basically above the, what's it called, the side table that I use, I decided to do kind of like a gallery wall, but the paintings I use there are paintings that I pull out from the rooms category in the build mode, which I've talked about so many times, and if you've been here before, you might be like, please shut up about this, we are aware, but there might be someone new here who doesn't know what I'm talking about. But basically, those are paintings that you can make in the game by yourself. Like, those are not CC, those are paintings that, like, if you have an art easel and you click paint, like whatever, those are the paintings that you will get. And I do have a few different rooms with them up on my gallery. You're gonna have to scroll though, because those are at least 5 years old. At least. So scroll if you want to see them. But yeah, I decided to make this kind of like gallery wall with those paintings because I feel like, I just said feels like because I meant to say I feel like, and then I felt like, 2 different tenses of the same word. Sorry, I can't speak. I'm really tired. It's been a long week, okay? But yeah, I decided that those paintings just felt more, I don't know, they felt more organic towards this build than like the ones that we had in like the build and buy menu. So I used them. And then on another part of the wall in, again, the dining room, I decided to use the kind of like crochet objects, the crochet wall decorations that you can make throughout the game, and those are also ones that I pull out from the rooms category. Those I don't personally have. Oh, sorry, I hit my mic. So sorry. Those are not personally ones that I have up on my gallery, but if you search just like crochet, I was like Croatia. That's a country. But if you just search like crochet, I think, or like cross stitch, it's probably cross stitch, on the gallery, and then sort through rooms, you should be able to find some. But yeah, I just put those because again, I felt like those just fitted the whole vibe, and especially like the whole like nature vibe. Those are from the cross stitch crochet thingy. I think it's cross stitch probably. Those are from the Cottage Living. Sorry, the only thing I could think of was City Living. different packs, very different packs actually. But yeah, those are from the Cottage Living expansion pack. Sorry, I hit my mic again. I need to stop doing that. I talk a lot with my hands. If you haven't been here before, I talk a lot with my hands. But yeah, and then after the dining room, I move on upstairs, and you won't see me do the hallway upstairs, nor the hallway that is between the kind of like, you know where I did like the desk area, the hallway that's between the desk, the dining room, and the kitchen. You won't see me do that little hallway area and the upstairs hallway area just because of time. I did record them, but time-wise, it just would not fit in this build. This build is already like 56 minutes long. You don't need a longer one, you know? So yeah, I decided to edit those out. But what I can say is that something that I forgot to mention before, but all the archways and the kind of like doors that I use in this build are from this new pack as well. So if you're seeing them and you're like, those, I haven't seen those before, it's because they're new, and I love them. I love the new doors. I love the new archways. They look so pretty. And in the bathroom, I decided to go for a shower that I got from the For Rent expansion pack. I do use a lot of For Rent expansion pack as well in this build. And then a cats and dogs, what's it called? Bathtub. But I do use the two new sink. Well, it's the same sink, but I use it twice in the bathroom because that's kind of like the only bathroom item that we got. We didn't get a new, well, never mind. I'm sorry, I'm stupid. I just didn't use the rest because we got a new sink, but then we also did get a new toilet and a new bathtub, but I didn't use the new toilet nor the bathtub just because I didn't feel like they fitted this build. But I do use the new sink, and also in the bathroom, you might have seen me do this already, but basically I put this, it's in the painting category. It's kind of like a tile decal thing. It's a square and it's just tile decal. I don't know how to explain it otherwise, but I put it along the bottom of the bathroom. And basically, I wanted to use that in the kitchen because it's so pretty and has these like kind of like moths on them and stuff like that. And it's supposed to be like, again, tiles you can use in the kitchen, but with the new windows, again, they're not straight. And so you can't use them on like, because again, they're square, like the tile decal thingy, but they're square, but the window isn't, like it isn't straight, so you can't line them up properly, so it just looks weird. But I could use it in the bathroom, so I decided to use this base game tile on like wall tile, and then I just put that like decal tile thingy at the bottom, and I just think it looks really good. What? I think it looks really good. It might look a little weird at places, but I think it looks good, and I use it in both this bathroom, which is the only bathroom you will see me do, but it's like the main bathroom, and then there is also a half bath that is like for the entire family, and there's a master bathroom as well, which has a shower in it, but this bathroom is the only one with a tub. And yeah, I just really like the bathroom. I think it looks really good. I did use the wall decorations that I use, the wall decoration that I use by kind of like the desk area that I talked about before, how it has like a painting and a little mirror and like a plant and stuff like that. I did use the same wall decoration above the toilet, but in a different swatch, and the swatch I use for the bathroom has this kind of like ship on it, and it's more like a sea theme, if that makes sense. And for a bathroom, it just fits. I don't know why, but so many bathrooms that I've been to have a kind of like sea theme. Don't know why, they just do. But then after the bathroom, I jump right into the parents' bedroom, and like I mentioned before, I had to redo this parents' bedroom so many times as well because my PC was just not having a good time with me. But in here, I use a new bed that we got. It's this beautiful 4-poster bed, and I love it. However, when it comes to the beds, I am going to talk about this. I know Jessica probably talked about it as well in her video, and it made me think about how upsetting this is. So I also want to talk about it because the Sims team, please stop doing this. They gave us this beautiful 4-poster bed. They gave us a beautiful like bassinet for an object baby. They gave us a beautiful crib for an infant, a beautiful toddler bed, but no single bed option for a kid. Why? Why did you do that? It's the same thing like with the love seats. Like, it can't be that difficult to make a single like bed version of it. Like, please, it's not that difficult. Now, is it? I don't know anything about game design. I don't know how difficult it is, but I feel like it shouldn't be that difficult. Like, I believe in you, Sims team. I believe in you. So yeah, that's just really annoying, but it's fine. But yeah, again, in the parents' bedroom, I used that beautiful 4-poster bed, and I used some side tables from the Life and Death expansion pack, and then I also used a bookcase from the Life and Death expansion pack, and right next to the bookcase I used this new like clothes hanger that again kind of like matches the bed. It looks very like nature-esque because it has like moss and stuff like that growing from it, but I feel like it still fits the build very well. And I also used some new clothes that we got, like clothes that you can hang on that we got from this new pack. And I also used the matching mirror that we got, which this mirror probably not going to be using that much. I love it, it's so pretty, but I'm probably not going to be using that much because it's first off very big, and then it also has like huge mushrooms on it, which is a vibe, but also maybe not a vibe for like a regular family home. But it is still a vibe and I love it. And then I also use this kind of like side table with a mirror above it as well, and that one, again, when I used it I was like, this fits this build so well, and I don't know why, it just something about it fits this build. And that one is from the Forent expansion pack as well. And then when I'm done with the master bedroom, or like the parents' bedroom, I move on into the little nursery for the infant. I love this room, it's so cute. I used an old wallpaper in here, which I'm gonna be using this wallpaper in so many different like especially like infant and toddler rooms, because I love making like nature themed ones. But in here I use the new crib, and I also use the new like tree bookshelf that we got, which again, gonna be using that in so many like toddler and infants rooms because again, love the nature theme. And I also used the new dresser in here because we got a new dresser. And in here I went for more like a pink theme, and I love it, it's so cute. And for the what's it called, the changing table and then also the rocking chair, those are both from the Storybook Nursery kit. I just felt like they fitted very well. And I also used like above the what's it called, above the crib, I used this little is it called a mobile? I think so. The thing you have like above a crib, you know, that like a baby can watch, if that makes sense. It has a little like hot air balloon that is also from that kit. And above, not above, but like on the wall, kind of above the crib, I used these two like wall decal decorations. Those are two butterflies, and those are from the Werewolves game pack, and I just felt like it fitted so well into this room. Again, it fits the like kind of like nature vibe, but it's still like so pretty. It fits with like the color scheme. It's so pretty. Sorry if you heard that. I don't even know what that was. There was something outside. But yeah, it's so pretty. And like I said before, I do use the new paintings in here as well. They're kind of like pressed flowers, but there's one that looks like an owl, and there's a few flowers that has like a face on it and has these colorful frames, and it looks so good. And yeah, I love this little nursery. It's so cute. And then after that, I move on to the last room of this build, which is the toddlers and kids room, because they do share a room just because of how space ended up being. At first I was gonna make it into just a kids room, but then I was like, nah, I want to use the new toddler bed, and then I was gonna make it into just a toddler room, but then I was like, nah, it's too big to just be a toddler room, so I combined it into a kids and toddler room, and I think it works out fine. But in there I decided to go for more of like a mint color scheme, because some of the new objects that we have from this new pack, they have like this mint kind of swatch, and I just felt like it fitted very well. So I do use the new toddler bed. Again, we don't have a single bed option, so I couldn't use any single beds from this new pack, but the one I did use for the kids bed is from the Realm of Magic expansion pack game pack, because again, I just felt like it fitted very well. And next to the kids bed, I do use a new side table though, in this kind of mint swatch. I feel like it fitted so well. And in there I also use a new dollhouse that we have, again in this kind of like minty swatch, and both in the kids room and then also in the infants room you will have seen me use this little like acorn what's it called, like toy box. There's also like a little acorn like nightlight, which I also use. Love them. They're so cute. And I'm going to be using those in so many different like builds as well, because they're just so cute. But then also next to the kids, like I said, we have the kids' bed, and then we have like the new like side table, and then next to that I decided to use a drawing table, and the one I decided to use is from the Eco Lifestyle expansion pack, and I just used it because it has these like kind of like nature themed items on it, which again just fits very, very well. And then also above the like, or basically not above, but like around the kids' bed, I decided to use a few different like wall decorations, and one of the ones I use are some fairy posters that we didn't get from this pack. We got them with the kids room stuff pack that we got I think about 8 years ago, if not longer than that. We've had these posters for 8 years in the game. We just now got fairies. Kind of funny, but that's just how it works out. And I also use a new bookshelf that we have from this expansion pack in here, and then next to the bookshelf, another kind of like fairy thing that isn't actually from this pack is this kind of like cardboard, it basically looks like a toy you would make yourself at home. It's like a cardboard box-ish. It looks like a horse, and then there's a little teddy above it, and the teddy has some like fairy wings on them, and that I believe is from the the Growing Together expansion pack, and yeah, it's just really cute, and again it has this kind of like nod to fairies, and I love it, and yeah, and then I just use a few different like teddies in here from a few different packs, and I use so many of the new like the like tree branch fairy lights that I was talking about before. I use so many of them in this build or in this room as well. And then they have this little like desk nook, and the desk I use is from the High School Years expansion pack, I believe, and the dresser I use in there is from the movie Hangout stuff pack, I believe. I think so. But yeah, I don't think there was anything else I want to mention when it came to the build. As always, if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. And if you want to download this build, you can do so from my gallery. My gallery ID is a Sims04. But yeah, we don't have that much left, like time left. We have a few minutes, so I don't know what to talk about during this time. Not that much. Again, I'm so sorry that this build is out late. I did try my best to get it earlier. I could not because my PC was having so many issues, and then I've been working like crazy, and I've been really tired. Like, I get home from work and then fall asleep. It's not great. I genuinely can't wait for college to begin again, because when I have college, I feel like I have more time. I don't know if that's just me, but I feel like I have more time than I do now, but I don't know. But yeah, I can't wait for that to begin again. But yeah, again, I love this expansion pack so much, and I did not think I was going to, but I do. And so yeah, you got my honest opinion. Like, genuinely wasn't that excited for it, but once we got it, I love it. It was kind of the same thing when Life and Death was announced. Wasn't really excited about Life and Death, but then when we got it, I was like, I do really like this. So yeah, maybe I should be more optimistic for packs and not just write them off, because anytime I do, I am proven wrong. But yeah, anyways, that's basically it for this build, and I really hope you liked it, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and of course subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.